Hello and welcome to Cozy News Corner, and today I'm gonna record in the dark because having really bright lights with a lot of energy makes this room unbearable, and it's already 26 degrees Celsius, which is too hot for me. So I'm gonna record in the dark, and yeah, hopefully you will just go for my voice anyway. So when it comes to news for this week, week 26, 27, and so on, it's been a little bit dry on news lately, so it took a while for me to gather, and of course it's very hot, so recording is not that fun. But first news, Valve's Steam machine gets Linux gaming into the living room. This is a new Steam machine. Let's see. Steam machine, and this Steam machine has gigabit Ethernet, it has DisplayPort 1.4, HDMI 2.0, USB-C, multiple USB-A ports. It's starting around $1,000 and have KDA plasma. And of course Proton and AMD Linux graphics stack with NVIDIA in the works. And with new releases of Proton 11, there will be even more support for VR gaming and also a lot more games. Old Resident Evil titles, EA games are now supported. So even though it's a very high price for a mediocre PC, it's still a living room gaming machine, and you don't need to think about it, you just buy it and use it. Next up, we have Obanto that gets rootless kernel patching for ARM64 devices. So it has been available for AMD 64 devices for a long while, but ARM64 have been working on since 2023, and it has been a lot of work and been a bit complicated because the infrastructures are very different, but Canonical still recommends that you reboot every so often, but now you can patch your kernel without rebooting. And then we have Cloudflare that unveils this pact to help websites fight bots without a CAPTCHA. So this is something that they want to build into different web browsers and similar in order to see that you're not a bot, pretty much. And this initiative arrives as websites are facing a lot of more automatic traffic from AI agents, scraping tools, spam, and credential stuffing. And importantly, the receiving website does not learn any user information, browser history, or token origin. We will see if this pact will go through and if all the browsers will implement it, or if this is something that they just talking about and discussing. It's always good to find new solutions for problems that occur, and spam and credential stuffing is never good. Next up, we have the Freedom Software Foundation, FOSS, that have a software freedom conservative set of rules for AI assisted codes. So they have added new rules. So to say, okay, we can do AI development, but we need to have rules around it, so we can do it in a safe and productive way. And the rules are as follows, and I have abbreviated them a bit. So the FOSS community should support it. Every FOSS contributor deserves a self-determination, which means that they need to take care of their own code, of course. And if they are using AI, they need to check it. Projects should not shun contributors that use AI tools. Before submission, FOSS contributors must invest substantial time in reviewing the code, of course. Full disclosure of how and when LLM-generated AI system was utilized. Contributors should only submit unattended LLM-generated AI contributions in area where explicitly designated for such. LLM-generated AI users should keep detailed, accurate records, avoid jumping to conclusions about legal significance of generated contributions. Inputs impact the license of the artifacts, so we need to keep that in mind. Copyleft everything remains the best viable and safest approach. When LLM-generated AI systems, including proprietary ones, can massively accelerate FOSS improvements, use of such tools is appropriate strategy and a compromise. Those with skills and interest in making FOSS friendlier, LLM-generated AI systems should do so in a matter of high priority. Do not overuse LLM-generated AI or allow your skills to atrophy, and think carefully about your usage. So it's a couple of good set of rules or guidelines for using AI. Next up we have Linux gets a dirty again with a dirty clone kernel flaw that can lead to local root access. I showed a couple in a new segment earlier, and this is another one that JFrog have disclosed. And it's a new kernel local privilege escalation vulnerability. The vulnerability has a CVSS score of 8.8 and is classified as high security. So another one of those, probably found by AI, which is good that we are patching and making the system more secure. Next up we have the Linux Foundation launches Acurites to improve open source vulnerability response. So this Acurites, which is a program pretty much for establishing a shared security intent response team and a standardized coordinated vulnerability disclosure process for key open source projects. And it's a very good initiative, and there is a lot of people in here. So Amazon Web Services, of course, Anthropic, ShaneGuard, Cisco, Citi, Ender Labs, Ericsson, Google, IBM, JP Morgan Chase, Microsoft, GitHub, NVIDIA, OpenAI, Rapid4, Red Hat, the Rust Foundation, Sonatype, Vodafone, and Zscaler is all in on this new program that will hopefully help with all the orchestration of these bugs, because there is a lot of them coming into different mailing lists and so on, and keeping track of them is really challenging, and we need all the resources and efforts that we can in this area. Next up we have Microsoft Azure Linux 4.0 is publicly available, but in still preview only. So this is something that is used in their cloud, of course. There are distributions that you can download and build your own and run them in your cloud. It's derived on Fedora Linux, and all the ISO images and projects are available on the GitHub repository. This article says that. I was looking at the GitHub repository just to see if I could run it. I didn't find any ISO images, and I didn't try it out. If you are interested, you can do so. Next up, we have Lumo 2.0, which is this new AI interface from Proton, and it's a private ChatGPT Claude, but not really. So this is Lumo. I tried it myself. I got an account and I asked it pretty much what is the model that is based on. And it's not really its own model, but it runs open source large language models that Proton has fine-tuned for privacy use. So it uses all these models. Kimi K2 is a very large and good model. It uses some Quen models, uses GPT OSS, and Nemo is also one that I know about. So they're using a bunch of these different models in the background and then fine-tune them for their particular use case. It's still interesting that you can use Proton to talk, and the chat history for different that you are using is expiring. So you see here, this particular chat is expiring in 2 days. And for a free account, you will only have history for 7 days. But of course, you can upgrade to Luma Plus or Business, and you will keep your chat history for longer. Everything is encrypted, so they can't read your chat and can't really do anything about it. So if you want to have a midpoint from your locally based or locally hosted models and the cloud hosted ones and keep your privacy, this could be a choice for you if you, of course, trust the Proton guys. So next up we have, let's see, AI agents should be verified identities, courtesy to DNS. So the Linux Foundation said that it intends to add something called an agent name service, which should be pretty similar to DNS. The only difference is that the AI agents should be registered as agents in this cloud, and whenever somebody goes and fetches information, the service should be able to look up the AI agent to get more information from it. So it's an interesting take. We will see where it goes. Still, it's in the planning phases, I would say. Next up, we have some Debian news. The security support for Bookworm have now been handed over to the LTS team. They have also an LTS extended team, but it's now in the long-time support, and it will be so until 2028 when it will go to this extended long-time support. So you have a while before you absolutely should upgrade. This extended long-time support is not a team, pretty much. It's enthusiastic volunteers that are creating bugs fixes for that old operating systems. So if you want regular support, you should be running on Trixie now. And if you're fine with having a little bit less of an effort on it with this LTS team, then where you will have your patches as well for a while to go. And next up we have Canonical, which puts in 40,000 euros a year to Trifta Tech to Rustify Ubuntu, and that is pretty much the news. There is a lot of things that are talking about that they were working on sudo to make that into a Rust safe, memory safe software, and now they are working on the NTFS suite in order to make that into a Rust software. So it's pretty much they are NTPD, and so there's name service client or name service server. They're doing good work on trying to make different services in the open source stack into Rust and make the memory safe. Not much more to report there, but they are putting money into this project, which is nice to see. And then we have the Shadow chat app, which is now open source and available to self-host. I will be looking into this. It looks very interesting. It's seems like a Discord clone thing, pretty much. Could be similar to Slack as well. So it's currently in version 0.4, and the developer considered it stable, but notes that it can have breaking changes before version 1, and the version 1 will be in 6 to 8 months, so it's still in active development. Currently it has text rooms, file sharing, reactions, embedded videos, configurable rules and permissions, voice and video calls, and also screen sharing. So a really good software package here with a lot of functionality. And last but not least, we have Germany that have just kicked out Microsoft, kind of. So none of this where they are switching off Microsoft is that they actually are cutting ties with Microsoft entirely, but they are working on removing SharePoint, and currently they are serving 5,000 employees on Nextcloud, and SharePoint is no longer used by Microsoft license. It's only SharePoint in this Nextcloud. They have 5,000 employees using it today, and the stated target is to get 50,000 employees to work to use Nextcloud in the future. So that's an interesting and good development, I think. More open source in government will both save data locally for privacy, of course, and also save money that the government can use for other things instead. So this was what I wanted to cover today. I hope that you found this interesting. I hope that you learned something today. If you like this video, give it a like, share it with your friends and colleagues. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do that. If you have any comments or suggestions, leave those in the comment section down below. And I really want to see you